In this video, I will share 4 tips that will take you to the next level of your Pokémon Unite gameplay, and this is for anybody, noobs or pros. Yo, this is your boy Offline, and make sure you stick till the very end because the last tip is something that is inevitable and it makes up for the greatest skill set a Pokémon Unite player can have to become 50% better. Let's get into it. Alright, starting off with tip number 1. It's pretty obvious, but please get familiar with the game mechanics because there's only 10 minutes of a ranked game, but there is a lot of moving parts that can affect if you can win that game or lose that game. And there is even a small chance that one small mistake can cost you the whole game. It has happened over and over again. So I recommend you get familiar with this if you haven't already because this will make you a lot better player. One of the main things in this game are objectives, whether it be Regieleki, Regice, Registeel, or the main endgame boss, Rayquaza, Zapdos, whatever that may be in the future. These objectives are key to you getting farther than the opponent's team because they give you buffs. They can help you steer the match in a direction that you want to focus on and gives your team momentum for winning the game. The other thing are buffs. Junglers get red and blue buff. You need to know what these buffs do and when you allow the jungler to get it or you can actually steal it for yourself. Because I see in the beginning of the game there's 2 people lurking around in the jungle trying to battle for buffs and it just throws the whole team off on a loop, losing momentum for the game right away. So get familiar with the buffs and who has the right to getting those. Now I'm not saying that you can't get the buffs for yourself, so define your role and it will make it clear on who on the team is getting buffs and when you can get those buffs for yourself. You can even go to the point of knowing when certain things spawn to get experience. This can allow you to get more XP or evolve your Pokemon before your opponent's team, which can give you a massive advantage during the early parts of the game or even in the middle of the game. Most players make the mistake of not leveling up in the mid game and focusing on fighting, which allows them to fall behind and throw off the momentum of the whole game. And the last small tip in tip number 1 is team fights. Please know what your Pokemon does and your role in that team fight. If you are a range attacker, I don't want to see you in the middle of that fight zone. You have a long enough range that you can be out in the wazoo and still do damage to the Pokemon on your opponent's team without even being close. A great example of this is Decidueye or Ninetales even. These Pokemon can stay farther away and still help a lot in the team fights, whereas something like Scizor wants to be in the middle. It wants to get those bullet punches off. It wants to hit right there when all the team members are trying to battle it out. So please know your role. Talking about Pokemon roles, this directly links to tip number 2. Know which Pokemon role suits you the best. Each Pokemon has a different role to fill in a stack of 5. Think about which Pokemon suits you the best. If you don't want to play a meta Pokemon since you're not comfortable with it, don't play it. Play the Pokemon you're comfortable with because you can still dominate the meta game if you are comfortable playing the Pokemon, even if it's nerfed to the ground. Now, if you're a Talonflame player, laning, and struggling to evolve, then I would suggest, try out a different Mon and try to see which Mon is comfortable for you. And honestly, you don't even have to select just one Mon. There is a lot of Pokemon in Pokémon Unite already, and you can find at least like 3 or 5 that are most comfortable for you and you can become really good at playing those Mons. Don't be afraid to try out new Pokemon. Once you pick your comfort Mon, there's other variables that you still need to think about if you haven't already, and these are your battle items, health items, and boost emblems. These factors can completely change how a Pokemon is built and how it will play during those 10 minutes. So let's say you are running a physical attacker and then you run triple glasses, that's gonna do nothing because they are special items and your Pokemon is a physical attacker. So run something like Razor Claw, Scope Lens, Float Stone, or something like that, which will make the build a lot better. And Pokémon Unite actually provides you with good builds like Pokemon Masters have, or their recommended build, which could be the first step of changing items on your Pokemon and looking deeper into it as you go. Now this is like pretty beginner stuff, but you can get a lot more involved with this and make up your own items where you have comfort Pokemons that do something completely meta different but still dominate because you have that ability of knowing what those items do and how they will affect your gameplay. Same thing goes for emblems because there is no one set answer. Alright, so you have a comfort Pokemon, you know the game mechanics. This leads to our tip 3, that is practice. Now, there is different ways you can practice, but Pokémon Unite has a great feature for you to practice your comfort mon before you even go to a single game. Now, I know many people hate this feature, but this single feature can improve your gameplay by a lot, and that is the practice feature, which you can access as shown on the screen. Now, what this feature allows you to do is just play with one single opponent and then you can go in as the Pokemon. I recommend you just ignore that opponent and you focus on playing yourself. Think about what Pokemon you're using, what kind of moves you want to use, and practice the gameplay before even going into a game with 4 different people on your team and 5 opponents. This can allow you to get some muscle memory on how to play this Pokemon and also give you practice on things that you want to do and things that you want to avoid while attacking objectives, let's say, or gaining experience, how you want to play around. Keep in mind, you don't have those 4 teammates right now. You want to keep in mind how you would play if there's 2 or 3 more players with you in the game. This will allow you to try out different Pokemon that you might want to eventually get licenses for to make it your next comfort Pokemon. And I highly suggest using this feature if you're a beginner because it will make you a lot better in this game because I have done this myself and it works. A little bit insight on why I am recommending this feature is because I was one of the players who started playing Pokémon Unite when it came out, but then I fell back on not playing it for a while. And this feature helped me figure out a new comfort Pokémon and dominate ranked matches where I got a lot better after getting the flow of how the Pokémon played. And that Pokemon was Scizor for me last season and it's becoming Decidueye for me this season. So I'm still learning, I'm still using that feature and it helps me get a lot better in how I play my games just by practicing how I play the character without any other players. And here is the last tip of the video. Now, if you haven't made it till this point, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and let me know what else you would like to see in the future about Pokemon. And here's the last tip that most people forget, but it is very important to know that you can do better. Matchmaking is absolutely garbage in some games. Alright? You're gonna have absolutely terrible games where there's headless chicken players on your team and your opponents are godly at the game, and that game is meant to be lost. But here's one key thing: 1 or 2 players on your team, even if you're losing badly, can have the capability of winning the game by good decisions. You have the key of making one good decision, either if it's a team fight or by leveling up to get your ult or something that can change the game on its head. So just know, yes, you're supposed to lose, but you can also win if you make that one good decision. And that's all I got for this video. Let me know if you have any feedback in the comments and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, Offline Squad.